my phone go? Here it is. Why do we have similar colored cases?
I don't know. It was not by design.
You know, I intentionally made our cards different colors so that we wouldn't, because I can't tell me how many times I pulled my card out thinking it was my card, it was your card.
Well, I always get the green phones, but I didn't have that option this time. So I had to green it with the case, and
It's kind of like a putty. It's kind of like a janitor's uniform color.
mine's a little more vibrant. And look, shiny.
Yeah,
Shiny wearing offs.
yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
That must be a feature bug. Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies. I'm Rob Fulmer, the Director of Government and Community Affairs for the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Executive Director Andrew Baum. Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier. That must be a feature bug of the Pixel line. Buttons are going to wear off a little bit and be shiny on the outside.
All right, we don't need that garbage in the camera. We don't need this.
It's not in the one. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Mentally, it's cluttering my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We don't need that.
I
guess here we are.
I hate that we're late this time. I hate that we missed our Thursday deadline. I missed our Thursday deadline. You had nothing to do with it. I had a choice. I knew I was going to not be able to do what I said I was going to be able to do while I was in Atlanta. And if you had provided some content, that was going to be icing on the cake. But here we are. It's Friday. We're late by a day.
Yeah.
For the first time in 150 weeks.
I was going to record something while I was in Salt Lake, and then that plan didn't work out either. So
Yeah.
I guess maybe I should have a more open view of what I should do at a podcast, right?
Well, yeah, I think here's what I would say. I mean, because this isn't we don't have this scripted out like some podcasts. I mean, those are excellent. We don't have, like our photo montages lined up with, like compelling music as we go to different phases. I try to sprinkle it in, but it's not a scripted podcast. It's just
Well, thanks for doing all the work.
No, thank you. It's of the moment, right? And it focuses on whatever we're working on or whatever we see or read. So even when we do get ahead, I feel weird about releasing things that we talked about 3 weeks ago,
Right.
2 weeks ago, because things can change.
I was sitting there yesterday thinking, I feel like we've recorded so many podcasts recently that we've got to have one in the can. That must be the plan.
Yeah.
But we already used those.
I'm not saying I won't ever do this, but I was almost going to just go find a podcast and go. It's a rebroadcast of a very popular
A classic.
show. A classic.
Here's a
yeah.
classic episode.
Just do a little voiceover.
Number 2.
Episode 2, before we
Even
sold out. When we were true to our amateur selves.
That's right.
So yeah, for whatever reason, this trip just hit me in a moment of somewhat a little bit of exhaustion too. I gave platelets a couple days before, and I don't want to discourage anybody to do that, but it kind of wore me down, and I still got a nice bruise.
Yeah, you do.
Because I was so cavalier about it, I was moving my arm, and I shouldn't be moving my arm at all. It should just be there. And all of a sudden, the alarms went off, and and look, I had to tell people in Atlanta, I'm like, yeah, I'm just new at this intravenous drug thing. No, yeah, it's moving around too, but.
I made my wife mad, and she grabbed my arm really hard.
Shook it.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, and then you lose 3 hours, and then I can't blame using the blackout curtains because we had this amazing view. We were on like the 60-something floor.
Wow, cool.
I'm like, I didn't think they had buildings that tall in Atlanta, but they do. They do. And then because it was a business trip, we didn't get to fly on first class.
Oh my.
Those seats are killing me, man.
Whose business trip was it?
Brenda's?
Oh, I thought you guys just took a little weekend out there.
No, no, no.
So they wouldn't let her fly in first class
I
because
think
it was
it's-
business for the airline?
I think it's politics. They have other people on that flight.
Okay.
You know, I don't know.
All
Or
right.
maybe she didn't want to burn it on. We do have a limit to how many
Right.
times we do that, and
Right.
it does, yeah. So, and it costs more because of the tax or something like that. But yeah, we did that. But so you what?
That is flipped over and not aiming at your face.
Will you pin this corsage on me?
I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it like, I'm going to put it close to a there.
Button, yeah.
There, yeah. Okay.
No, it feels weird.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. We have lavaliers we could plug in, but
Too lazy.
yeah, it's fine. Let's see.
And you went to Salt Lake City.
Right.
Okay. Do you want to start with that?
Sure.
Because you left earlier, right? You left on
I left on Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
And you got back on Monday.
Right.
Okay.
It's been a lot of travel. I
Yeah.
mean, we had 3 days back in town,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. So it's been a lot. But the executive director for the Utah State Brewers Guild, she is part-time, and it is her first big festival. Well, they only have one a year. So it's her first time running this festival.
Right.
So she said, hey, anyway, you and Bonnie could come up and kind of help me out. And my best friend lives in Salt Lake, so it's never a problem for me to go to Salt Lake. And we jumped on a plane on Thursday morning, got there. Our friend owns a restaurant, and he had a concert set up in his parking lot. So all the homies were there for that, and we had delicious, delicious food. Oh my gosh.
Your friend
My friend Dean.
Dean, the Brewers fan.
Brewers fan, correct?
Okay. I'm just want people to keep track of our cast of characters that never show up on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother-in-law, my brother, my wife. My dog has made an appearance.
Right. We get
Joe
to,
Filler, now Dean.
So we stayed at Dean's house, which again, it just made us easy for us to say, yeah,
Right.
sure, we'll come help. Why not? Bonnie had 3 days of PTO, so we went Thursday through Monday and had fun times. Got to do some amazing sightseeing throughout the whatever it is called, the Heber Valley. We went to Heber Valley, which is right outside of Salt Lake, and had some great food there and saw some amazing views. Big reservoir was open. There were people all out there paddling. It was just gorgeous. And
Oh, they got the longer evenings too.
yes,
Because they're a little bit north. And
yeah. Then Saturday morning went to the beer festival, which is at a food hall.
right.
Got 10 little small restaurants inside a common area.
That's
They have
an
a
idea.
back patio and a parking lot in back that was all for the beer festival. So
Right.
they do have a liquor license, but they just had someone standing at each door, like you can't go either way with the beer from each thing.
Oh, because it was outside the food hall.
Right. But you could go inside and eat
Sure.
and then whatever.
Right.
So we got there at 8 because I texted Stephanie and said, hey, what time are you going to be there tomorrow? She said, set up. I'm receiving rentals at 8 a.m. That's when I'm going to get there. I said, cool. So we got there at 8. There are already 6 tents of breweries set up and about 20 people running around the space.
Did you bring your vest?
No,
That you wanted to though, didn't you?
I did.
Did you?
Forgot.
Oh, you forgot. I was like, did
Yes.
you wrestle with the idea?
No, I didn't wrestle and put it on and be like, oh, nope, I'm working.
That's awesome.
No beer to the guy that's working. But they had 6 different wristbands.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow. Why?
Brewers had a wristband.
Right.
No serving.
Mm.
Cannot serve them.
Mm.
Vendors or volunteers had a wristband. No serving. Cannot serve them.
Mm-hmm.
Vendors had a wristband. Yes, you can serve them. That were like selling shirts.
Mm-hmm.
They had a guy that did can labels. He had a few people out there and
Right.
they were hanging out. They had a nonprofit out there, and that was about it for vendors. They had 32 breweries. So when they were done serving, they would go to the front, cut off that wristband, put on another wristband. But you cannot serve unless you have that red wristband.
Right.
And it's
So-
very, very strict.
Right. I mean, if we're being honest, that's the way our law is.
Yes.
I'm not going to be honest though. Yeah, no.
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
Very, very strict.
that's one way to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably the most compliant way to do it.
Oh, they had designated driver was the third one. That was a
Mhm.
no serve. And then
Right.
they had VIP, and then they had GA, and there you go. So it was intense compared to what we do, for sure.
Right.
Everyone had a great time. Everyone pitched in, carried stuff back and forth. Relatively large space to put it together in, but yeah. They did a raffle like we did.
How
of
many breweries?
brewery
roughly?
swag? About 30 breweries, give or take.
30. That's good size. Yeah.
And it's a collaboration fest. It's called the Mashup.
Mashup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Every brewery that did the mashup with another brewery were next to each other.
Right.
And then of course they brought a couple of their own beers. So they didn't each have like 6 beers and 4 in package. It was like 3 max at each booth.
Right. Just so everybody knows, like there are copyrights on some of these festival names,
Yeah.
and so they had to make some clarity. They had to give some running room between the neighboring state, who had started what they called Collab Fest.
Yes.
So they arrived at Mashup. I'm glad that worked out.
Wildly, the Templin Family Brewery did a collaboration with Prost in Denver.
Yeah. That's cool. Did you go out with any brewery people afterwards, or was that dinner time with your
No.
friends, or? Yeah.
Yeah, we went back and actually, let's see, it ended at 6. And then by the time we were all broken down, we just went back to our place and
Yeah.
chilled.
Yeah, I mean,
Dean was not there that day. He had a little cold, or he thought it was allergies. But his wife and a couple of their friends came down and hung out at the festival with us, which is nice. And they're not
Yeah.
beer people at all.
Right.
They're wine people, like super straight up wine people.
right.
But they had a great time. And when they were there, they were trying a bunch of stuff because they just don't try it. And it's so fun watching the faces of people go like, whoa, that is really good. You're like, I know. Beer is so many things and not just one, but
Hey, speaking of trying things, we
Yeah.
are at Huss Brewing Company. We're in the tap room.
right?
It's not open yet because it would be too loud. But I'm trying this lemon lush shandy, and I will tell you, you should. I took
will.
the whole thing. Try some of
Thanks.
that. It reminds me of an adult version of Squirt.
Yes.
You know, the soda.
Absolutely.
Because it does not finish as sweet as Squirt, but it has enough of sweetness.
On the nose, I'm getting like, this is some diluted limoncello. Like, it's very nice, very nice. How refreshing. and
Would you
fun.
have that on ice? I think I would have that on ice.
Sure.
I mean,
That's
it's
awesome.
And it's got enough beer. I can taste some little graininess, and
I would
Slight
never
business?
buy this until after I tried it.
yeah, and it's 4%.
It's really good.
No, I mean, I was like, all right, because I know you were jonesing for the. Oh, you poured the pineapple.
That's the one I wanted, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pink pineapple haze. I like this beer.
So I'm glad
Hazy IPA.
I'm glad Matt Johnson didn't take this off the table. It's like I wanted to try it, and that's
Yeah.
sometimes all you need is just the someone giving it to you to try.
But that at 4% over ice,
Oh yeah,
what a nice like thing to drink in the evening instead of what I always do,
Right.
which is like hoppy.
you know what would be fun is to get a 6-pack and just slowly pour it into a pitcher,
Jungle
add the ice, stir it, because you can hear the ice cubes clacking in there. That reminds me of summer right there.
Yeah. I mean, it would be lemonade, except instead it's beer lemonade.
Beer lemonade.
Yeah.
Hey, just would be a good point to say that no goods or services were exchanged for the promotion of any products. We just happen to be here. You just happen to give us some of these, and with no obligation to talk about them. But I was.
Well,
I
we
was like,
couldn't. Your house was busy with some things, so
Yeah.
we couldn't do our podcast
Well,
there.
I try to want to get out a little bit, just to change the background up a little bit, and maybe
Why not support members?
talk about
Yeah.
what's going on. And we have never been here for our podcast. We don't go to a lot of places to do our podcast, but we're going to change that because we have mobile stuff.
Yeah, we're doing this on the light version
Yeah.
without a soundboard, and it's so wild.
It is. It is.
Actually, it's absolutely the same thing for me.
Well, but if this was a loud environment, I'd have to clean it up a little bit,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
can do now. But I wanted to get some more reps with this. Anyway, so Saturday rolls through.
Yes.
Were there other beer-centric things? Any beers that you tried? Any places you went? Any restaurants you went to? That anything to talk about your time in Salt Lake?
So then Sunday, Tracy had to leave. She's a flight attendant. She had a Paris trip, so she did not go with us on Sunday. When we were at the concert on Friday, our server, very nice lady named Becca, said, I think we were talking about my garden. Bonnie and I were sitting at a table, just the two of us, because as soon as we got there, we were so starving. So let me back up again.
Sure.
We get to Dean's house, and we unpack. We get to the kitchen. It's a condo, so we're in the kitchen, living room area, kind of standing there. He's in the kitchen, and he says, there's this spa that I want to take you guys to. You brought a swimsuit, right?
No, you did not bring a suit.
Do I care? No, I don't care. Like, what do I need a swimsuit for? I didn't bring shorts either, but I'll wear his shorts. I don't care.
I would
Like,
just
whatever.
I have this orange vest and it's kind of long. I can kind of.
Oh, Ken's walking in, so be prepared.
Oh boy. Yeah. So swimsuit.
Oh, yeah. However, hey, Ken, what's going on, man?
Ken Wilson.
For me,
Yeah.
it's fine. If you are a female, and I don't know if this is every female, but in my experience, it's every female I've ever met, the thought of I have to go get a swimsuit is terrifying.
Oh yeah, of course.
In a city you don't know,
Right.
before swimsuit season.
Right.
So our option was Target. We had not eaten. We just got off the plane.
Hangry.
There is a lot going on right now.
Right. Right.
It didn't get to the tears point yet. In fact, there were some very lovely swimsuits
Right.
that Bonnie could choose. We figured that out.
Good.
We got back to the apartment. Then it was time to go to the concert/dinner.
Right.
And when we got there, we said, they were still setting up a little bit, and we said, we have got to eat right this second, like right now. We're just gonna sit there.
Right.
We need to order now.
Right.
And very generously accommodated. Food was absolutely amazing.
What was
We're
the name
talking-
of this place, or what kind of restaurant was it?
It's Cucina. It's a wine bar, neighborhood deli. Like in the morning, it's coffee and
Right.
bagels and pastries, and then
Okay, so the
it
right kind of
becomes-
place to
Yeah.
get food in your face.
It was counter service and then converted to full service after COVID.
Right.
But again, you have to constantly be changing, right? You
Right.
can't just be the same thing forever. So Becca says, I work at the Botanical Garden. You have to go. Everything's in bloom. It's so amazing.
Okay, so this
And
is
so we're pretty excited.
yeah.
Sunday is when we decided to go,
Right.
forgetting that it's Mother's Day.
Oh yeah.
So Dean, the mayor of Salt Lake, is driving through all the hospital parking lots and all his secret back ways to get to the Botanical Garden. And when we get there, there's just a line of cars waiting to get in the parking lot. And so we didn't.
You didn't.
Then
Uh-huh.
we decided to go to, this is Sunday still, because time hasn't changed, it's Sunday. And we wanted to go like on this mountain trip through a valley, over a mountain, and back down to the Heber Valley again, because the mountain, but the road was closed because it's still winter on the mountain,
Sure.
so we couldn't. Instead, we called a couple friends, Rob and Jenny. They just built a new house in that canyon. We went up there, we saw it. Rob is a builder. He perfectly designed the entire house to be exactly how we wanted it, and it's gorgeous. And we hung out with them for a couple hours. We also went to a place that's called a brewery, but it's not really. They have beers called IPA lager, and they all say brewed in conjunction with, and then all the breweries that made those beers.
Right. So they're basically collaborating, quote unquote, with all these breweries.
Yes.
Or
correct.
they might be just rebadging regular beers, possibly.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that
Okay.
more.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Did I take any pictures? No, I didn't. I took one picture on Sunday. And
But you liked the beers?
this.
You liked the atmosphere? You liked it
It was beautiful. Oh my God, this place.
because of the view and
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
The building itself was unreal, like just beautiful. It was Mother's Day. Bonnie had a couple mimosas. I had a beer, probably an IPA. It was
did they
fine.
call them mimosas?
No, they did not. That is not this kind of place. And then I had a Bloody Mary, and that was great. And then we went up to Rob and Jenny's, and there are a couple people that have been on our trip to the Bahamas a couple times, so
Got it.
we're very much well know them.
Got it. Got it. All right. So it was a fun weekend for you.
It was nice.
Little-
After that, we went home, and Dean had recorded a Savannah Bananas game on ESPN, the Ocho.
Ah, nice.
And we got home, everyone was tired, and we watched the Savannah Bananas game, and we laughed, and I had to do a lot of research. How did they score this crazy thing?
Right.
The Savannah Bananas lost, I think it was 9 out of the last 10 to the other team.
Wow. It's not like the Washington Generals versus
No,
the Globetrotters.
it's not. They actually have 5 teams in the league now. Banana League.
Okay. Are they like the Plymouth Plantains and the?
Yeah, no. No, I think one was Party City. They were playing in Nissan Stadium in Nashville,
Okay.
and it was sold out.
Get out.
70,000 people watching. That's where I watched Taylor Swift.
Wow. Yeah, I know. Right. Huh. So he recorded it. How did he get it into your hands?
Well, it was a DVR.
Oh, you watched it at their house.
Yeah.
I thought somehow you were transported on Monday when you got back. Like,
Would have been amazing. No, so we got home from
Got it.
Rob and Jenny's, and then
got it.
Dean made some stir fry, and we watched the game, and I think that, and then we watched So I Married an Axe Murderer. It was very exciting.
Any takeaways from the festival experience?
Yes.
Good.
Having an engaged regular volunteer crew is money in the bank.
Yeah.
Their breweries all brought swag for 300 VIP backpacks. So you got the backpacks donated. All the breweries just set up a table and filled all the backpacks. Literally, all the breweries, people
Right.
stood there and filled the backpacks with all of their swag for 300 people, which was so amazing.
Yeah. Anything else? Was the pairing of the food hall, was that a good idea?
I think it's amazing because they get value out
Right.
of having all these people there,
Right.
which I've been there 3 times at this event, and they've had fewer and fewer people in the food hall.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's-
people, well, as you know, I have this saying, when depending on the weather, I mean, if it's too hot, people solve their food hunger issues by eating or drinking instead
Buy
of
it
eating.
with booze, yeah.
But having it indoors with air conditioning, that might change the dynamic. But
And a nice indoor bathroom
yeah,
in
yeah,
there. They had a brewer's lounge.
right. But you are in the parking lot though,
Yes.
which is not desirable.
Yeah, it's not asphalt. It's pebbles, which is difficult for setup but nice for attending.
Right,
Like you're not on this thing.
right. Whenever we're on grass, it's never a great experience because it's usually dead because
Yeah.
of the time of year, and
Right.
people who have allergies always complain.
It's better for the attendees because it's softer underfoot,
Right.
but it's harder for setup, especially like, I think this was like 1/2 inch minus, maybe 3/4 minus pebbles.
Right.
And
Nobody
you can't roll a hand truck through that. It's
Right.
just
Nobody in the non-Western states understands gravel minus values.
Okay.
Not that matters. I
Okay,
mean,
yeah.
but
it's true.
it sounds like a lot of the things that you say that are benefits to the consumer really come from the brewers getting there early, being engaged, spending some money of their own for their own branding, bringing those things, labor. It seems like more of a barn raising than
Yeah.
we're used to.
It's like a flashback to 10 years ago, honestly.
More
Maybe like
15.
Yeah, yes, 15. They had live T-shirt printing.
Yeah.
Let's see what else was interesting and unique. They did have an ice trailer. They had one of the breweries brought their tap trailer and used that for keg storage for everybody. I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I will find more interesting things that they did a raffle like we did for swag baskets.
Right.
Frankly, ours was a little more well managed, and I bet we made a lot more money. But
Yeah.
they only have 10 tickets for samples, and then you can buy more.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we talked about doing it. We just never do for reasons I don't know. Like, we could do it, but you really the weather really puts that whole enterprise at risk.
And there's a lot more labor to it,
Yeah.
and there's
Money handling.
Well, and your potential for because I think their tickets were like $45
Yeah.
for the 10 samples. Now we would get crucified for that.
Yeah. It's really hard to change that.
Oh, you know, our amazing idea for our Real Wild and Woody sample cups?
Yeah.
That's what they had.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Oh, no, it's great.
You're not.
Everyone was wowed by it.
Okay. Well, we won't reveal that just yet. What
I
that is.
ordered
Well, I know, but we
yesterday.
won't reveal
What it
on
is?
this show.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I actually left after CBC on Wednesday to go to Flagstaff. And we left on Sunday very, very early because it was Mother's Day. It was graduation. It was the, Cocodona 250. Like, there are people who race from Black Canyon City, 250 miles, and then they get to Flagstaff, and then they route you all around the city and hit all the peaks within the city limits, including Mount Eldon, and then you finish.
And
I
how
think
do these people race? On their feet?
Yeah. So like the top time
On their-
for 250 miles, their top time was like something like 50 hours.
They are running on their feet
Yes.
for 50 hours.
Some take all 5 days or
Wow.
4 days, but yeah, 50 hours.
Happen to have a cup here for you, bud.
Ken is here. He's off camera.
Hey, Ken, scoot on in, bud. I mean, we can't hear you, but
Yeah,
Did you hear me whispering at the bar?
no.
no,
Oh,
Sorry.
no, well, it wasn't. We were just trying not to interrupt the pod.
no,
Oh.
you weren't.
Is this
Well-
fair game?
Yeah, get it.
I just tried the Czech pills.
You could zoom out.
I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just tried the Czech pills that they brewed. I was chatting
No,
with Matt,
that's
and
the
the Czech
extended
pills are nice. Well,
I don't want to go too far back. 'Cause
No,
it'll
it'll-
slide back.
And break that camera.
Hi, Andrew. How are you doing? I don't know
my.
that we can hear Ken that well, so if we get to a point where we're asking you a lot of questions, Ken, we'll.
I don't know if we can hear you too well right now. Okay.
You can hear my heart beating probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went and did that, and that's when I found the cup.
Where was it?
It was at
Lumberyard.
what's that?
We left the cup
The
there
copper cup.
Oh,
a long time ago.
Now we have it back.
have it back?
Yeah.
Bonnie asked me about that a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
She's like, "Are we gonna bring the cup?" And I was like,
Are you guys gonna bring it back on Saturday?
Saturday.
It's our anniversary.
"Oh yeah, that's nice."
That's where it was the last time.
I
yeah.
know, I was just saying, bring it back. We'll do it again on Saturday, and then I'll bring it back a year from now. This beer smells great. It smells awesome in the glass.
You're having the ruby red. Ken is remarking that it smells great.
Yeah, it's good. I really like that.
So yeah, I did that, and then Monday I went to Atlanta. So that's an all-day flight because you lose 3 hours. So you get up at a reasonable time, you get there, you go.
I mentioned I was doing some research on going to DC for the hill climb, which is not on my plan right now, and then also some research about going to JBF. But the flight thing is cruel
Yeah.
for DC. Like there is no way you can leave the day that you're doing anything.
Sorry, man, I drank it all.
It's okay. Sorry.
I drank the shandy.
All right.
So I might go back to Atlanta and then hip hop over there. I
So
don't know.
Monday you bolted out early in the morning to get to Atlanta.
Yeah. So you end up getting there at 4. By the time you drop bags and all that, it's 5, 6 o'clock. The airport's kind of far away, and like to go like 5, 6 miles in Atlanta takes you at least 25 minutes, even when there's no traffic. So that is a strike against Atlanta. And these were like Phoenix plus prices for everything. So, you know, I'm used to having those really inexpensive Indianapolis Uber rides and, you know, food and beer.
Not so much. Huh?
No. And like, you know, I mean,
It's the LA of
yeah.
the East Coast.
So I would put that on the expensive CBC potential locations in the future. Like that's a lot. Like I did check the parking there would $60 a night in downtown, you know, and I don't know how close we were to the convention center. I'm assuming fairly close. Anyway, had a great time, and regardless of all the things I just said. So I wasn't sure if Brenda wanted to go out or not, and she did, and so we started at a nearby, the first brew pub in Atlanta. Can't remember the name of it. And then we decided that we found a place called, or I heard about, and Brenda was like, hey, there's this place, they serve Czech beers. It's Halfway Crooks. Whole menu, one side, maybe 15 beers is Czech. Opposite side, German styles and a few Belgians, right? And you walk into this place and it's 2 stories and it looks like you just walked into the Czech Republic. And like the floors are tiled in a very European way, the furniture, the shelving, I mean like obviously the taps, the beer styles, the menu, frites, you know, kind of more European styled foods. I'm sure kind of similar to what the kind of food menu vibe that Wren House was trying to do with their
Food hall?
Yeah, very similar.
Their place in PV should be open pretty soon.
Yeah, I haven't heard. We need to check that out.
I traded a couple texts with Drew yesterday, so I'm going to meet up with them in a couple of weeks and we're going to get a beer.
Nice, nice.
They've had a good run of success lately too, so their brewery in the States really getting things right.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, just you mentioned it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to check out their new place because they're right by my house.
I don't know. Like I'll share some pictures on the YouTube. Literally just transformed like you're in the Czech Republic. So that was perfect.
That's cool.
You know, Brenda had her conference the next day, and I got up and I went right to Scofflaw, talked to JP.
JP used
JP
to live
Watts.
in Phoenix.
Tempe. Yeah.
Yes.
Or he ran the Tempe World of Beer location, and then they also had one in Tucson. And you
They had
know,
one in Chandler for a bit too.
Really?
Chandler?
At Santan Mall.
don't remember that one.
Briefly, yeah.
I do. Travis Thurman did a stand-up there one time.
That was, you know, after we won the gold medal for Naughty Pine and we put it into a production piece, JP was the first person to tap that beer,
Right.
which was pretty cool. And we're bringing that back as a 20 barrel batch in 2 weeks. So we'll have just 24 half barrels and 10 slims available, and just like that nostalgia for pale ale, and you know, bringing back just a classic mark. But we're just going to do kind of one and done and send it out. So I'm really looking forward to getting that beer back. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. Pale is a tough category, but at the same time, this batch here will go pretty quick. You know, I like it.
I wish pale wasn't such a tough category, man. I gotta say.
I mean, in Nielsen scans recently, it's off like another 11%. It just
Off
kills
of
me.
0? They went from 0 to negative 11?
No. I'm just saying it's just continues to trend down, and I can't. You know, and it's always one of those things. People are like, oh, hey, I love your pale, and then I meet them at the brewery. It's like, but you meet me at the brewery and you drink IPA,
Yeah.
which is okay.
Yeah. With the Czech styles, you know, like coming in and sort of blurring it a little bit, you know, maybe, I mean, there's always been a fork between the style, competition style, the notional style that some of us kind of throw around, and then the actual marketing, right? So, which doesn't help the marketing, doesn't help the sales. I get it. You know, we just came off the heels of you know, you all winning an ESB, but being bested by an American Pale. But
Yeah.
I had I had Sierra Nevada on cask, Brickstore Pub on my last day. Just not to
In
skip past
Atlanta?
it. In Atlanta.
Would have come from North Carolina, I guess.
Mother father.
And it is, they have 4 on all the time.
Knights of Columbus.
Four cask beers on all the time. That was one of the reasons that I went there.
Yeah.
But it does have a lot of that bitterness, that finish that you would have from ESB. It's just, like, again, I think the color throws people off.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been at the brewery for 14 years, and we've always entered it in that category.
Right.
It's always been that ESB
Well,
category, and it
It does well, so why change it?
Well, it sits nice. It fits that category.
Right.
So
But anyway,
It's the under the radar category that people like, but they don't know they like.
right. Oh, I can only imagine as a judge the range of beers that run across that
right.
spectrum. I mean, obviously we're talking Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. We're talking our beer, and then Railhead Red, and then the variety of things could be. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I like he's got over at Walter Station. He's got that English Pale there that would kind of fit in that category. It's a great beer, but it would be a distinctly different. There would be three beers that would all fit that style that are all distinctly different.
Right, right. So that was my Monday, right? And I got up, went to talk to JP. Their place is on the northwest side of Atlanta. Had I known everyone was north, I would have done things different. Oh yeah, go ahead, man.
Thanks. It's Friday.
JP, just gave me a little tour. I caught him between things, and I even forgot to take a selfie, so I photoshopped one.
I noticed there was an AI generated feel to that.
Yeah, he was in a little more washed out look than my side of the selfie. But
Green screen.
anyway, they're at 50,000 barrels.
That's a good number.
It is, and I talked to him a little bit about if there's anything in our laws that would have prevented them from doing that in Arizona. And obviously, to be clear, they left for personal reasons. That's where they're from, and I think they, humbly said, he humbly said, they were in a place where they went right to distribution, and they were in a comfortable spot between two distributors that had Creature Comforts and Sweetwater and Terrapin, and they fit the mold for a brewery in Atlanta in production that would counter some of that stuff or balance it out.
Yeah.
And so, of the $50,000 or 50,000 barrels, he shared that, majority of it is theirs, but they do co-pack, and they are doing things with distilling, and they are helping out other companies with their beverages. So it's the direction they want to go, and to ride out whatever this beer flatness is gonna
Well, the
reign.
buzzword you kept hearing at CBC, the buzzword you hear from distributors and from buyers is, what's your latest innovation? What are you doing? And that, to me, Scofflaw hits all those notes, right? They're doing all these
Right.
different things, because I don't feel like they're throwing things at the market. I think they're adapting to the market. They're producing items that consumers are looking for, and then at the same time finding, alternative revenue streams that they can pick up to help fund new innovation.
Innovation and collaboration.
Absolutely, they do a
It's
lot of collaboration.
hallmarks of the industry. Keep doing it, and it's
Yeah, I think collaboration is really big. I mean, we just did that collab beer with Barrio, and obviously they're friends of ours, and Jamie.
I had that Operation
X, man. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out really good. We were really happy with it. It came in to Hensley and it went right out. Because there's two popular breweries there that people know about and have good reputations. And I'm not blowing my horn or Barrio. It's just when you put things together like that, people are intrigued by the fact that we brewed it at our place. Next year we'll brew one down at theirs. So it's collaboration, innovation, like you said. It's the things you keep hearing, and I think Scofflaw does all those things right.
So they have a whole division that does cannabis beverages that his partner handles. They also just installed a tunnel pasteurizer, and they were getting that up and running. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know specifically what their plans are on that. I didn't get into it too much.
I think if you basically to keep that, if you're doing a non-alc or doing waters, you need that pasteurizer to clean it up to make sure that there's nothing.
I don't know if it was being driven by them or their co-pack part of their business. So it might be new business, or might be something that they want to expand on. Didn't get into that too much, but JP's always been a straight shooter. He was buying almost exclusively Arizona beer at World of Beer.
Yeah, he was a great supporter.
And he was super knowledgeable in the beers that I guess everyday people drink, that they didn't get into too much at World of Beer, but they always thought that was a blind spot, and they tried to address it.
I mean, they're on Mill Avenue, so it's not necessarily craft heavy crowd. It's
Right.
more of a drinking crowd. And they're exposing people that didn't really know craft to a whole new thing.
Right.
Well,
That's
I
pretty
think
cool.
they did a good job too of not. I mean, I see a lot of, at least what I think when it comes to certain retailers and rotation and things like that is you kind of like the term overcoaching it. You know, like, oh, I got to find this, this, and this. And realistically, there is no new horizon. It's who's doing these styles clean and who's doing them right. And you have to look at the affordability of it. So I think that there's a lot of retailers get caught out with exotic beers from other places, and they don't want to take anything that's, you know, production over 500 barrels kind of thing. Well, I mean, Beaver Street, you guys are familiar with that. It'll do 700 barrels. So that's a small brewery. So if you're buying stuff at under 500 barrels from other markets, I mean, I don't, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, very difficult.
And it's going to take a long time to get here, and it's going to be, you know, are you working on blended margins, or are you just, or is it so good you can charge $10 a pint where, you know, a pint of other local producers here you can charge $7? Sure, because I think the retailer pushes back, so they charge everything for $7, and then the rest of us as Arizona producers supplement the margin.
Yeah.
So
So the next thing I did was I got a hold of
sorry,
Joseph.
I got off.
Oh, no,
No, you're
we were just
golden,
filling
bud.
in, man.
Going, but
We, I got a hold of Joseph Cortez, executive director in Atlanta, or in Georgia. He wanted to meet at Battery Park, which is where the Braves play. They moved from Fulton County. So now, like, by the time I get there, I'm 3/4 of the way to Marana, or not Marana, what is it? Marietta. I'm like outside the city.
that's my sister's baby, by the way.
Oh, hey, congratulations.
That's not mine. That's my sister's.
Yeah.
Good.
Just to let you know. Sorry, I was looking at some things.
And so we had lunch there, and
In Marietta?
no, we
No.
didn't. We were at
Okay.
Battery Park, which is the Braves
Is
Park.
there a university in Marietta, Georgia? Or is that part of Atlanta? So,
I don't know. I'm not familiar. I know there's one in Athens, and I know there's something in Macon, and I don't know.
All right. You're having lunch at Battery Park. We got to tighten this shit up.
All right, Chance, I got to go.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Sorry. Thanks for letting me drop in.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Good seeing you.
I'll see you next week.
Sell a bunch of beer, would you?
I'm going to go out and try.
Thanks, bud.
I've got a good lead right now. I can't mention on this podcast, or other people will go there and try and get it. See you guys. Thanks.
See you, man.
Good weekend.
All right. I guess I should have the other mic ready just for that situation.
The
Didn't
one
think
that
about
I have at my house?
No, I have a separate mic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we just met there. The reason we had to go that direction is because, like, it was getting towards lunch, and I didn't want to be hangry. And I was like, I'm going to meet you halfway from where you're coming from. He was coming off a golf outing, so we met there. And, you know, I walked around. It's a new park. I guess, you know, it's pretty impressive. But I guess they're tearing it up and redoing it. I don't know. So,
Are you trying to explain how sports stadiums work? Because
yeah, and there's a Blue Moon presence there, and you know it's not the same as it was when it was the Terrapin situation. So, and we've seen that. You know, if you recall when Justin was here, we went to Diamondbacks game, and we were looking for a local beer, and in the whole one side that used to be Four Peaks was what, Montejo or something like that, or it was whatever Hensley was launching as a Mexican competitor to Dos
Yeah.
Equis. So I have the lager, and you have the.
this is the Devil's Halo.
So it's a line extension because we have an amber and
Lager.
and I don't know which one came first. I'm guessing the amber did, right?
I think so.
So it's a line extension. It's not.
Pueblo Vita similarly has a lager and an amber for U of A.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on up in Flag, but Ken's gone now, so.
Yeah, maybe that's a trend that.
Yeah, amber and a lager, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, I get. I don't understand ambers, but I absolutely understand them and I enjoy them. But I don't know how that fits with the drinkers at a sports game.
Right.
I don't know. Not
I
up
don't
to
know.
me.
I think. Anyway,
Hey, what is Historic's brands for their NAU beers?
Is it the blue and gold cold?
A cold IPA.
That's a cold IPA.
Yeah, that's a good beer.
so they don't have an amber yet, as far as we know.
They just updated the can. Looks really good.
Nice.
What about Central Arizona College and
Yeah,
Yavapai College, Coconino Community
Florence
College?
is popping off right now.
Yeah. Let me finish my story.
Okay.
Because I was going to talk about Florence, and I don't want to talk about Florence.
Okay.
So then I was like, man, I'm all the way out here, man. Can you at least get me to New Realm? Because I told Mitch I would be there. I didn't say exactly when, so I text and guilt Joseph into taking me there because apparently he lives leagues beyond all this shit, and everybody's north. I didn't know this. My cousin was north. Kyle, who I met up with, I'll get into, he's north. I'm like, all right, I'm on the south, you know. And the only thing I found down there, that was halfway crooks. We go to a New Realm, and I'm texting Mitch, and I'm like, hey, man, you know, sorry to give you a heads up. We're going to be there about 20 minutes. If you're there, great. If you're not, I'm going to enjoy some beers, look at your space, and the next time we talk, we'll have something to talk about. He was there. And he's like, hey, I can't really stay that long. I got a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to drink little tasters. I think he drank about 6 tasters. But I got to try his Blackberry Smoke Lager, which there's a band called Blackberry Smoke. There's no blackberry or no smoke in this.
Okay.
It won a World Beer Cup medal. I don't know if it was a silver, I think maybe. He won 2 or 3, and I had 2 of the offerings that he had that won World Beer Cup medals.
Awesome.
So the
Only a week before. Mm-hmm. Boom.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
And I had set that up before the awards night, so it wasn't like, hey, I want to try all these great beers. Like, I just wanted to chat with him.
Yeah.
We chat once in a while because his mom lives in Tucson area, and he's going to come back here and there. And I said, hey, well, you know, whatever we can do here to make your time better, recommendations, whatever. So hopefully he'll reciprocate, and because he provided great hospitality. We told stories. We talked about Sierra Nevada and the World Beer Cup win, and he was very proud of the Blackberry Smoke. He was super surprised. They had a lime lager, which I'm failing to remember. I don't want to call it what in my head it is, because that's an actual product by Budweiser, but it's a lime lager. And it was like, yeah, we put this in here and we didn't have any expectations about it. And I'm like, you know, when you get talking about beer and you've known somebody for a while, that's what it used to be called, I think. Lime Vesa is what it called.
Lima Vesa.
Yeah, it used to be Beach Bounty Lime Lager, or that's what it is in the package now. I don't know. Lima Vesa was what it was when it won. And you know how he gets talking, and you're like, yeah, I said, if I was a home brewer and I made this would be for my friends. If I was to make it for myself, I would cut the lime all the way back. We laughed about that because, like, I just told Mitch how to change his.
We're
meddling. No.
I just won a World Beer Cup with this.
Yeah.
Here's what you should do better.
No.
Typical home brewer.
His place is, you know, we walked through the brewery because I was with Joseph, and like that's what executive directors do, like go through the back and try to find who we're looking for. We talked about server education, and he talked a little bit about the clientele that comes in on the weekends. It's going.
It's blinking.
Oh, it's getting hot.
All right.
It's too hot in here.
Oh, dang.
Let me just finish my thought.
Yeah.
Talked about, you know, server education, and he's going to Ireland. And I said, you got to take the Jameson tour. He's like, I am going to take the Jameson tour. Here's why. Years ago, I was invited by the homebrewers to do a talk and take part in their competition or something along those lines. He's like, they paid for it, but they would not take me to Guinness, and they would not take me to Jameson.
Wow.
And I said, the only reason I brought it up is because when you take the Jameson tour, at least when I did, they sample you Jameson, no variants, nothing else. Jameson, an American whiskey, which was Jack Daniels, a Scotch whiskey, which was Johnny Walker, and a Canadian, which I don't remember which one they served the Canadian. And they're trying to educate you on the differences between these whiskeys, and they feel that theirs is smoother, easier to drink. And I've never had 4 in a row like that of whiskey. Like
I might go get some airplane bottles.
Yeah.
For a little home tasting tonight.
It is really eye-opening, and the presumption of theirs is if you prefer Irish whiskey, you will always find our whiskey because they're one of the market leaders.
Right.
So that is working in the favor. It's a very interesting way to look at tasting, right? I can't imagine it translates necessarily to our industry, but it might be something to think about. It should be something that breweries already think about. We should be drinking other people's beers
Absolutely.
as a part of your sensory.
And
So-
different styles.
Yeah.
So I did share this the other day. The Chupacabra guys have a dice rolling thing. It's 3D printed. You throw a dice in it, it comes out the mouth of the dragon,
Right.
and then that's a number. They have that many taps, that's the tap you get. I used to do that with my brewers.
Uh-huh.
So after the shift,
Right.
it's time for your shifty. First you roll a dice and you have a sampler of whatever came up.
Right.
Because I like IPAs. I will get an IPA every day for my shifty, but that is not great. You should try things outside what you usually do,
Right.
just like we did here.
Yeah, exactly. So his place, it was, I don't think it was quite open. No, it wasn't open. It was wonderfully dark in there in the tap room sitting, and he was, asking his staff questions. He's like looking at the menu, and he's like, when do we put calories on our beers? Like, these are wrong. And like he got to the bottom of it. It was like apparently a setting in Untapped. He's like, yeah, we got to get rid of these. Are wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
I didn't put that in there. What are we doing?
Yeah. So Untapped is out there throwing estimates on beers that they have no idea about.
There was that requirement for menus that then got kicked off, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, anyway, I don't know if that's the default setting or whatever. I do know from my recollection in working it for festivals, there are templates that may have already included that information depending on the layout and stuff. Anyway, it's right on this, I can't remember what they called it. They called it, it wasn't a green, I would call it a green belt, but they
Parkway?
called it, yeah, they called it a parkway. But
Boulevard?
parkway to me is like a street.
Yeah, no. A lot of places,
I know.
especially East Coast, a parkway is just a long park.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a street for
Yeah.
people in a park.
And so we sat on the patio after Mitch excused himself to his doctor's appointment. And he left and he came back 10 minutes later. I forgot my notebook.
Okay.
I mean,
I take notes at the doctor's.
no, I think he
Theoretically.
just didn't want his notebook with all of his beer notes
Oh.
laying out in the bar before they opened.
Okay.
Anyway, that was a great experience. Shot back, attended my wife's reception after her
Work thing.
work thing was done. And there's a couple people that I know from past trips. They have an economist. He is always at these things. I didn't get to hear his presentation, but it was called "What the Forecast." It's pretty edgy for an economist in the airline industry.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
We don't need insights on that.
they had Creature Comforts Tropicalia as one of their beers.
Nice.
Wonderful beer I hadn't
Cool.
had in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Very good, very nice. And you know, because they have a little bit more money on there, better appetizers. Anyway, the next day, or actually, I had excused myself. She went to her corporate dinner. I went and met my cousin at a nearby sports pub brewery, Stats, and stuck with the Pilsner because it was good. But I haven't seen my cousin in like 20 years and kind of just caught up. So that was nice. So
There's a lot to catch up in 20 years.
well, so when I said I was coming and I don't know how my schedule, I'm like, I group texted everyone, like, just saying, I'm like, hey, here are all you guys. And I was, my fear was like, they're all going to sit at the same table and I have to explain who everybody is. And I mean, there was a couple beer people and my cousin and, you know, and his wife, like that would have been a nightmare, right? I mean, not ideal, but like, I'm sure they would have not said no, but if that's the only way I could see them. Didn't happen, right? That was great. Yeah. The next day, I had some time, because our flight was late, I had some time to go to the Brickstore pub, which has been getting a lot of write-ups lately, a lot of stuff, because they've always been kind of like in that same group as like Falling Rock and, you know, Monk's Cafe in Philadelphia. Tornado. But, you know, more on the, I would say more on the culinary side sometimes, but lately they've leaned into this cask program. So they had 4 cask ales, which I think I had 3 out of 4 there. And I met Kyle Ratcliffe, who used to be the brewer at 1912, And before that, he was the brewer at Thunder Canyon for many, many years. Back when they were at the brew pub, and I don't think he was at the downtown location, but
Okay.
the first time I met Kyle, they were making their version of
60 minute?
60 and 90 minute, yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
He had the shake table.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there?
Me and Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We
Anyway.
were just brand new brewers going down to see what was going down in Tucson at their
Yeah.
guild meeting.
Wow, that's really weird. I didn't place you there now that you say it. So, you know, he's not in the industry, and his back is ravaged by the industry, and so he's not looking to get back, but he still stays up on it and asks me a lot of questions about what's going on in Tucson, and kind of kept him informed. And, you know, he's when he's here, he usually reaches out. We usually have a couple beers with him, but like we had a few beers there. And
Before the airplane?
oh yeah,
Oh, you should not have beer before an airplane.
oh, you know, I did.
Oh my.
And I also used this little container to have a little THC beverage before I got on the plane, before I got through security.
Okay.
And the
Good,
market-
then you slept.
Not really. I was kind of
Jesus
restless.
Let me tell you about the airport in Salt Lake. They require street pricing.
Uh huh. Oh.
A pint of Rooster Brewing Company IPA was $7 at the airport. A
Nice.
burger. Bonnie and I split a burger with fries. It was $15 at the airport.
Yeah.
That is insane to me.
Yeah.
And that airport is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, they do have the Olympics coming up in 2032.
Okay.
So they're building 2 more, whatever, not terminals, but concourses. Yeah. Well, not even. There's an A concourse and B concourse. They're adding more modules to the B concourse.
More
whatever.
gates.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you are looking for a great airport and a nice town to hang out in, Salt Lake is a great place to go.
I did not do my usual find a historical thing per se.
Oh.
I didn't have time. Jimmy Carter Library was on my list. I didn't do enough research. I didn't have enough time.
Kyle.
No, that was that was a very relaxing, funny afternoon, which
Great.
is what that bar is all about.
Good.
It's in Decatur, so again, way northeast. So next time I go, if I go, that'll put us farther away from the airport, but I would stay out that direction, probably, or maybe not. But I did go to the Marriott Marquis Hotel down the street from where I was staying. I was staying at the Weston Peachtree 70, floors with a restaurant on the roof, with a spectacular view, but kind of a 90s, never been updated interior. Anyway, I went to the Marquis, and that is a 1985, I believe, because the atrium was the largest of its time until I think somebody in Abu Dhabi decided to beat that record. But it's just, when you look up, it's just concentric circles of floors going up. And I guess it's been in the Hunger Game movies. I'm not familiar. A movie called
I've seen them, but
Flight. It was where the contestants are gaming the
yes,
state or something like that.
yes.
I don't know. Because they got elevators going up and down. It looks like very Logan's Run, Future City kind of, thing. So just took a few pictures in there, and I was gonna try to make my way to the bar.
The
but-
tributes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
And I ended up finding a very loud Irish bar to have my Guinness so I could send a picture to Ken.
Fun.
Yeah. That's it. That was my trip. Like I said, I would go back. There's a number of breweries that I would like to check out. I just didn't have a chance to. JP told me, he just rattling off 10 breweries that closed in the last couple of years. So, that is the way of
An
the
industry in flux.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know what the answer is.
Well, I have so many regrets about not hitting up more breweries in Salt Lake, but we were busy the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I had the luxury of being solo for most of this time. I didn't have to.
Right.
And like I said, everybody who wanted to meet with me fell into a rhythm, I guess. It doesn't always happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it worked out. But would go back before DC if that works out. So we'll see.
Cool. I discovered that a $78 round trip on Spirit to Salt Lake is an option. So I may just do that.
Right. Over time, you can bring individual things,
Yeah.
and then you can.
In your personal item.
Right. This is for my big trip, where I stay more than a day or two. Yeah. Yeah.
Like a swimsuit.
A bulky coat.
Oh yeah, to finish that story. We were gonna go on Friday and then they were booked. So we did not go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're used to, and I think it's genius. You went to TJ Maxx in Indianapolis downstairs from our Airbnb to get a sweatshirt. Like, my brother, when he came by, he's like, he went to Buffalo Exchange to buy stuff. He didn't want to, and he just left it.
Yeah.
I think he took a T-shirt with him, but he's just like, yeah, it's disposable clothing.
I mean, I don't like that idea, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I don't think that was a planned thing. I think it's just my brother was not very good at packing.
Okay. I feel that way sometimes.
Hey, we have to wrap this up.
That's true.
And
Gonna get some B-roll of the Huss Brewery for this?
yeah, I mean,
Maybe put some nice music behind it?
we could sit down and talk to somebody if they want to talk to us. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like we kind of sprung ourselves on.
Wow, it's a long podcast already.
Well, no, I mean for another,
Oh, good idea.
if you have time.
I mean, we're late, but. All right.
All right, for this one,
Remember, sometimes the beer finds you.
yes. Sometimes the location finds you for this podcast.